my name is Carrie McNabb. I am taking us through, over the next few weeks, sort of crash course around what is finance business partnering. This first video is going to be about the sort of overview career spotlight on finance business partners, going from junior financial analyst all the way to director, head of finance, CFO, that sort of scope. But future videos will be around different types of tasks like annual budgeting, strategic planning, things like that. So the first video for us today is we're going to go through finance business partnering. What is it not, and take you through a bit of a deep dive there. So I'm going to start off looking at a bit of myths, specifically around, from the outside looking in, what is finance business partnering. So we'll start off with that title. You can see a variety of roles that will cover off the types of tasks that a finance business partner will often do. Those titles can include things like junior financial analyst, finance associate, all the way up to, like I said, CFO, head of finance, finance manager even. Really what you're going to want to do is look at any sort of job posting or job description. You're going to want to look at the tasks that role is responsible for, and that will give you insight into the type of role it is and whether or not it does cover off this finance business partnering. So that's where we'll start, with looking at the types of tasks that this role will often do. What you'll sometimes see in finance roles is sort of a dichotomy between two different areas. So the one area, the one that we're talking about right now, is a more commercial, business, organization focused type role. You'll see tasks or duties in job descriptions associated with things like supporting a team, working cross-functionally, working across departments, developing internal reports for use by managers, for use by board of directors, those type of tasks, whether it be supporting a project or a product or a sales team or an operations team. Really, those tasks will be looking at the supporting of the team. But you'll sometimes see on the other side that may have those same titles, that may still have that financial analyst, even finance business partner job title, but is a bit more sort of accounting focused. That would be, running journal entries and running balance sheet reports and developing those sort of reports for the supporting of the P&L, supporting the profit and loss sort of package of reports, CapEx analysis, things like that. You'll sometimes see those kind of tasks in a finance business partner role, but they're really just with the aim of supporting those teams and supporting the business. So the focus, I would say the main difference is there's a lot more emphasis on taking those outputs from those accounting teams. You'll still work very closely with those teams and doing the analysis, doing the planning on those reports to support the teams that you support. So I would say those are the main things to look for in a job description, to know whether or not the role that you're considering or the role that you're even in is a finance business partner, is that the emphasis on that partnering aspect. The other side of it, the sort of myth busting, is the qualifications that is required for a role like this. The main qualifications you'll often see for finance business partner roles, from junior all the way up to the senior level roles, is either an accounting qualification, so an accounting designation, or an MBA. So those are the sort of the two backgrounds that you'll see. You'll sometimes see, like a Bachelor of Business with some finance experience that will sort of add up to equivalent of the accounting qualification. Really the most popular qualification that you do see for roles like this is an accounting designation. The different countries have different accounting designations, so it's best to look at what's relevant for your area. But the reason this is kind of classed under that myth busting is you'll often have a lot of people that will hear, if you're going into accounting, that looks like a very specific career path. And that's just not true. A lot of people go into accounting and accounting designations for a variety of different reasons. And one of the reasons is to have that multi-tool to work across a department, across an organization with multiple departments. You'll have people who have a background in accounting who are working on projects. You'll have people with a background in accounting working on products, working with sales. Really, the idea is there that it's a versatile qualification, and that any of these finance business partners roles are really advantaged by having that kind of qualification. The next area we're going to go look at is what is a partner. So the emphasis on that partnering partnering piece. I will say that from the beginning of your career in finance business partnering to sort of the more senior levels, that sort of evolves. So when you're really early on in your career, that partner becomes it's very important to establish those strong relationships with the groups that you're working with the emphasis on delivering the reports to them and answering the kinds of questions that they have and the kinds of queries that they need answered. So that the best way to do that is to just really understand that department, understand that team that you're supporting. What sort of things are they concerned about? What sort of problems and challenges are they facing? Where is their major expense item? So that will be very, very different from a maybe entirely labor focused team like sales, to a team that might be more focused on tangible like manufacturing products. Those sort of costs, those sort of inputs will differ across those different departments. So really getting a sense of that team, what they need, and the best way to do that is to just ask them. So you'll often have regular meetings, regular touch points with the person who's the budget owner of that team, probably a team lead or a team manager, and just getting a sense of what do they concern themselves with day in, day out. I like to have a sort of standing question around if your team found themselves in a position where you had an extra $1,000, $100,000, $1 million in your budget, what would you do? What is the immediate thing that jumps to mind? So those kind of conversations are really going to help establish that relationship and really give you the tools that you need to get them what they need. And really that's sort of the crux of it. That's the heart of it. Another thing you might want to consider is, how frequently does their whole team meet? And seeing if that's a meeting that you yourself could attend as the finance person that supports that team. So if they have quarterly meetings, going there with the aim of listening and absorbing and understanding will really sort of advantage your ability to support that team. So that's kind of your sort of junior intermediate sort of stage within that role. As you get more senior and as your influence sort of grows within that role, your conversations are going to be a lot more talking high level, and you might be talking to different people at that stage, but will be a lot more focused on conversations around strategy and what it is that their team needs to deliver for the strategy, and making sure that those conversations stay relevant and tailored to the audience that you have. So if I would say the most important thing about that partner aspect of the role is understanding your audience. So your reports will never be a sort of one size fits all. You'll likely have to develop a whole suite of reports based on the audience that you're meeting, and really getting a sense of what's important to them will be key in making that distinction and tailoring those reports. The last part of what I wanted to go through was around the strategy and influence. So we kind of talked a bit about that in the partnering aspect, but the strategy and the influence within the entire business is a really big part within the finance function. You in your finance team will have your own strategy to deliver on. Most strategies do have a finance pillar that is developed with finance in mind. So that, depending on the organization, can be anything between sort of sustainability and resiliency all the way up to sort of growth. Those will look different depending on the strategy, depending on the organization. So you need to know your strategy and your team's strategy, because that will influence the kind of conversations that you have throughout the organization. But it's also important to know the pillars of strategy that your team that you're supporting is also concerning themselves with. So that's really the best way to sort of bolster your influence within the organization, is just being aware of the strategic discussions and the strategic priorities of the organization, of the teams that you're supporting, so that you can tie all that together when in the way that you are supporting them, and in the way that your finance team is delivering on your own finance objectives. That kind of takes us through the main things that I wanted to go over today. I hope this has been helpful. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a few of these videos over the next little bit, so please stay tuned if this is the kind of content that you're interested in. I will be diving into some of the main priorities of a finance business partner, including things like annual budgeting and strategic planning, and management reports and areas like that. So if there's anything you'd like to see specifically, please feel free to leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.